Have you ever thought about why some women appear to become more frustrated with their husbands over time? Many long-term couples find themselves facing this reality. What once felt like a strong bond can sometimes evolve into daily frustrations, unspoken resentments, or even open conflict. What could be the reason for this happening? It's not uncommon for women, after many years of marriage, to experience feelings of disconnection, exhaustion, or even resentment towards their partners. This can happen for a variety of reasons, and understanding these feelings is an important step towards addressing them. In this video, we will take a closer look at the fundamental reasons driving this shift. As emotional needs change and unexpressed frustrations build up, certain patterns can emerge that may lead to tension in marriages over time. Often, these changes unfold slowly, almost imperceptibly, so that neither person notices until one day, the warmth has faded, leaving behind feelings of resentment, frustration, or even regret. Let's take a moment to acknowledge the reality of the situation. By grasping these patterns, you can gain clearer insights, whether it's about your own marriage or that of others. By acknowledging these signs, you have the opportunity to shift direction, rebuild connections, and cultivate a relationship that brings fulfillment once more. Stick with me until the very end, as the reasons for this shift could be quite enlightening. These are important concerns that deserve our attention. It's important to recognize that there are deeper psychological and emotional factors at work, influencing relationships over the years, often without our awareness. By the end of this journey, you might find yourself viewing your marriage or even past relationships from a fresh perspective. Before we dive in, I encourage you to subscribe and activate the notification bell. This way, you won't miss out on any of our upcoming videos. If you like this video, we'd love to see a 1 in the comments. Your feedback means a lot to us. If you have any feedback, please feel free to type 0 in the comments. Your input is valuable, and I want to create videos that you truly enjoy. Let's begin our journey together. First and foremost, it's important to acknowledge the years of emotional labor that often go unrecognized. As women navigate the journey of life, it's not uncommon for feelings of resentment to arise towards their husbands. This often stems from the significant emotional labor involved, years spent nurturing the relationship, managing the household, and caring for the family, frequently without the recognition or appreciation they deserve. Emotional labor encompasses much more than just physical tasks such as cooking meals or cleaning the house. It focuses on the important mental and emotional efforts that contribute to the strength of a marriage. It's important to remember birthdays, stay on top of family schedules, help resolve conflicts, and make sure that everyone's needs are taken care of. These responsibilities frequently tend to be taken on by women. After many years of shouldering this burden, it's completely understandable to feel worn out. It's a common belief among many men that putting in the effort to provide financially is enough to fulfill their role. However, there's so much more to contributing to a relationship and family. A marriage encompasses much more than just financial support. It's all about putting in the effort, being present emotionally, and ensuring that a woman feels appreciated for all that she contributes. When a woman dedicates years to nurturing her family, managing the household, and fulfilling social commitments, it can be disheartening if her partner doesn't recognize or appreciate her hard work. Over time, this lack of acknowledgement can lead to feelings of resentment. Consider someone like Carol, a 72-year-old retired teacher. For many years, she skillfully managed the responsibilities of raising 3 children, maintaining a full-time job, and ensuring that her husband's life was well organized. During each holiday, she took the initiative to plan the meals. Each year on her birthday, she carefully selected gifts. She kept track of doctor's appointments, nurtured their friendships, and ensured that life was both comfortable and well organized. Upon reflection, she came to an important realization. She had never experienced anything like that before. Her husband never asked if she needed help or expressed gratitude for the things she did. And now, after all these years, she found that love had faded away. She felt really tired. The challenge with emotional labor lies in its invisibility, which can often lead to frustration. A woman can dedicate her entire marriage to making sure everything operates seamlessly. If her husband doesn't recognize her efforts, he may not realize why she has started to feel distant or resentful. She didn't change all at once. She has reached her limit. It's important to consider how appreciation evolves as time goes on. In the early years of marriage, even small gestures could have made a significant impact. A little thank you here, a kind compliment there. After many years of marriage, it's important for a husband to recognize that assuming his wife will always take care of everything can lead to an imbalance in their relationship. This can make her feel more like a caretaker than an equal partner, which isn't healthy for either of them. When that feeling arises, it's common for love to diminish, often giving way to frustration and emotional fatigue. It's important to understand that women typically don't suddenly wake up and choose to feel resentment towards their husbands. Resentment can develop gradually, often stemming from countless small moments where we feel overlooked over the years. It's completely understandable for a woman to start distancing herself if she feels her emotional contributions have been overlooked for many years. If this resonates with you, or if you've ever felt undervalued in your relationship, know that you are not alone in this experience. Many women go through this experience, often not recognizing it until years later. Secondly, experiencing a sense of being more like a roommate than a wife. As time passes, it's common for many women to feel as though they are sharing their lives with a roommate instead of a partner. That transition can be quite challenging. In the early years of marriage, you'll find a wonderful blend of excitement, passion, and a profound emotional connection that can truly enrich your relationship. However, as time goes on, if both partners cease to invest effort into the relationship, the romance can diminish, leaving behind a partnership that resembles two individuals merely sharing a space. For many women, this change doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process. Initially, you may notice a few missed date nights or a decrease in meaningful conversations. Then a routine began to take shape. Amidst the familiar routines and everyday interactions, a moment of clarity arises for her. She recognizes that the bond she once shared with her husband has shifted, prompting a deeper reflection on their connection. Sharing meals together can be a wonderful experience. While they might share the same space to watch TV, the closeness they once had seems to have faded. She feels overlooked and longs for a sense of being valued. She feels more like a housemate than a partner in marriage. Consider someone like Linda, a 69-year-old retired nurse. During the early years of their marriage, she and her husband enjoyed laughter, took long walks together, and shared their dreams with one another. However, as time went on, the conversations became less frequent. He no longer inquired about how her day had been. He dedicated more time to watching TV or enjoying moments of quiet reflection. Over time, they found themselves living parallel lives, connected yet distinct from one another. Unfortunately, he didn't even realize. For him, it felt like nothing had shifted. But for Linda, it was a completely different story. This change occurs in many marriages, as some men believe that after getting married, their efforts are complete. It's important to remember that just being present in the home isn't always enough. Relationships need continuous effort and nurturing to truly flourish. Many may not understand that when a woman experiences emotional disconnection over an extended period, it can lead to feelings of loneliness and, ultimately, resentment. Emotional intimacy is just as essential for women as physical intimacy. It's important for them to feel valued, recognized, and involved in conversations that truly matter. When a husband ceases to put in the effort, whether it's through flirting, giving compliments, or showing genuine interest, he may gradually become someone his wife feels resentment towards. When a woman starts to feel undesired, it can lead her to question her purpose and place in the world. It's important to recognize that many women often put in a lot of effort to address this issue before they decide to let go. They mention it, they share what they need, they seek deeper connections, greater affection, and increased attention. When those requests go unnoticed or are met with a lack of response, it's natural for her to gradually stop reaching out. When a woman ceases her efforts to reconnect, it can lead to a lasting emotional distance. If this speaks to you, know that you are not alone in this experience. It's common for many women to experience an emotional gap in their marriage, something that can feel quite heavy and unexpected. If you're still enjoying this video and finding the insights helpful, I would love for you to comment number 2 below to let me know you're with me. Your support inspires me to keep creating content that empowers and encourages you. Thirdly, it's important to recognize the unresolved conflicts that may have accumulated over the years. As women grow older, it's common for unresolved conflicts, small arguments, disappointments, and emotional wounds to accumulate, leading to feelings of resentment towards their husbands. Addressing these issues can be a vital step in fostering a healthier relationship. As time goes on, it's important to recognize that these unresolved issues tend to linger rather than fade away. These feelings can accumulate over time, forming layers of frustration that may lead to deeper resentment. It's common for couples to overlook issues rather than address them directly. It often begins with little moments, like a careless remark, an overlooked anniversary, or an unresolved disagreement. Initially, a woman may choose to overlook the situation, believing it isn't worth the struggle. As time passes, it's natural for those small disappointments to accumulate. Sometimes, it's the little things that can weigh heavily on a relationship. A forgotten apology or an unmet expectation can accumulate over time, leading to feelings of hurt. It's important to acknowledge these small moments, as they can impact the connection between partners, even if they seem minor individually. However, when combined, they form a gap that seems challenging to bridge. Consider someone like Patricia, a 74-year-old retired accountant. She had been married for over 40 years, and from the outside, her marriage appeared to be quite stable. Yet, deep down, she held on to years of unexpressed feelings. She recalled each moment when her feelings were overlooked, each instance her needs were downplayed, and every time her husband made a promise that went unfulfilled. She had expressed her frustrations before, but they were often dismissed with comments like, "You're overreacting," or "That was years ago. What makes this a good time to discuss it?" As time went on, she gradually ceased to argue, let go of her hopes for change, and began to view her husband as someone who might not genuinely consider her feelings. This pattern occurs quite frequently. It's common for women to carry pain from the past, often because they haven't found the closure they need. When a man consistently overlooks or downplays his wife's concerns, it conveys, whether he means to or not, that her feelings are not important. Experiencing emotional neglect can really foster feelings of resentment over time. One important aspect to consider about unresolved conflict is how it can alter a woman's perception of her husband. In the beginning of a marriage, you'll find love, admiration, and a wonderful sense of partnership. However, when conflict remains unresolved, those positive feelings can begin to diminish. A woman who once viewed her husband as her closest friend might now feel that he doesn't truly hear her, that he overlooks her needs, and that, over time, he has shifted from being a supportive partner to someone who feels more like an opponent. The most challenging aspect? It's surprising how many men may not be aware that this is taking place. People often think that if she isn't expressing any disagreement, then everything is going smoothly. Many people confuse silence with peace, but it's important to recognize that silence can sometimes indicate that a woman has stopped trying to express herself. If you've ever felt that your frustrations have been overlooked for a long time and found yourself wondering why you should even bring it up, remember that you're not alone in this experience. This is an experience shared by many women. Number 4 highlights a change in priorities that may lead to feelings of unfulfillment. As women grow older, their priorities and desires naturally change, and sometimes these shifts may go unnoticed by their husbands. It's important to recognize and adapt to these evolving needs. What once brought joy and fulfillment, such as raising children, managing a home, or supporting a spouse's career, may now seem like a chapter that has come to an end. It's common for women to arrive at a point in their lives where they seek something greater, be it a deeper emotional connection, opportunities for personal growth, or a renewed sense of independence. When husbands continue to follow the same routines without recognizing these changes, it can lead to a challenging gap in the relationship. For many years, countless women have set aside their own dreams and needs to prioritize their families. They prioritize nurturing their children, ensuring a stable environment, and looking after the well-being of those around them. As the kids grow up and the household dynamics shift, many find themselves reflecting on what feels absent in their lives. When husbands don't evolve with their partners and cling to the same dynamics from their younger years, it can leave many women feeling confined in a life that no longer brings them joy. Consider someone like Helen, a 68-year-old retired librarian. For many years, she dedicated her attention to her family. She contributed to school projects, organized family vacations, and dedicated her energy to creating a warm and inviting home. Now that she is in retirement, she is eager to seek out new experiences. She was eager to explore new places, connect with social groups, and finally pursue hobbies she had always wanted to try but never found the time for. What about her husband? He found comfort in sitting in front of the TV every evening, showing little interest in venturing into new experiences. Whenever she proposed trying something new, he would brush it off, expressing contentment with the current situation. What he didn't understand was that she wasn't. This is a place where feelings of resentment can start to grow. A woman who dedicated her life to caring for others begins to understand that she deserves the same attention and care in return. She begins to yearn for a life that brings her a sense of fulfillment. However, if her husband is unwilling to engage and grow alongside her, she may start to view him as a hurdle instead of a supportive partner. That change in how we see things can transform mild frustration into a more profound experience. It's important to recognize that priorities can shift over time. Many men may not notice the change until it has already passed them by. Many people believe that their wives will always be satisfied with the roles they've held for years, not realizing that she may be seeking more from life at this stage. When a woman senses that she is evolving beyond her marriage while her husband seems to be standing still, it can lead to a significant disconnect. This situation often requires genuine effort from both partners to mend and strengthen their bond. Aging can open up a world of new opportunities, inviting us to embrace change rather than fall into the patterns of routine. When women sense that they are still evolving while their husbands have reached a standstill, the feelings of resentment go beyond mere boredom. It's about experiencing a sense of limitation in pursuing the life they truly desire. If this speaks to you, and you've experienced a shift in your priorities while your husband seems to hold on to old habits, remember that you are not alone in this journey. Many women go through this as they get older. If you're still enjoying this video and finding the insights helpful, I would love for you to comment number 4 below to let me know you're with me. Your support inspires me to keep creating content that nurtures and empowers you. One important aspect to consider is the absence of emotional and physical affection. As women age, it's common to feel a sense of resentment towards their husbands, often stemming from a gradual decline in both emotional and physical affection. This shift can be quite challenging, and it's important to acknowledge these feelings and seek ways to address them together. Every marriage goes through changes over time, and when affection diminishes, it can leave many women feeling unwanted, unloved, and disconnected from their partner. It's important to recognize these feelings and seek ways to reconnect and nurture the relationship. In the early stages of a relationship, you'll often find a delightful warmth in the air, filled with hugs, kisses, and those little gestures of affection that truly make a woman feel valued and cherished. As time goes by, it's common for many husbands to settle into a comfortable routine. Remember, affection is not merely a phase in marriage. It's essential for nurturing and sustaining love over time. For some women, the realization that things had changed came not from a major argument or a dramatic moment, but rather from subtle shifts in their everyday experiences. It became clear over time that the little gestures, the kind words, and the light-hearted teasing were no longer present. Consider someone like Sharon, a 71-year-old retired secretary. She fondly recalled the moments when she and her husband would stroll hand in hand, the way he would gently place his hand on her back during their conversations, and those sweet, spontaneous hugs he would give her just to show he cared. However, he no longer seemed to regard her in the same light. Conversations have evolved into helpful discussions about bills and errands. As they sat on the couch together, there was a sense of distance between them, despite being in the same space. She had mentioned it before, saying to him, "I miss how things used to be." He said that we're past that stage now. In that moment, she understood that he was completely unaware of the issue at hand. Many men may not realize that affection goes beyond romance. It plays a crucial role in providing emotional security. Women continue to seek beauty, adoration, and a sense of significance in their lives. When a husband stops showing affection, it can lead to feelings of loneliness and invisibility for a woman. That can be one of the most profound challenges a marriage faces. It's important to recognize that physical intimacy can evolve as we age. It's common for couples to experience changes in desire over time, particularly when facing health issues or changes in their bodies. What many women truly feel is not just the decline in physical intimacy, but rather the absence of effort to maintain that emotional connection. When a husband stops expressing affection through small gestures, refrains from giving compliments, and doesn't initiate warmth, it can gradually lead to a marriage where his wife feels more like a roommate than a cherished partner. It's important to recognize that over time, women may not simply adapt to this situation. Instead, they might begin to feel resentment towards it. They feel frustrated because their needs have not been acknowledged. They feel hurt that their emotional longing has not been acknowledged. They feel a sense of frustration about their ongoing desire for connection, especially since their husband has chosen to withdraw from showing affection. Many women make efforts to address this before deciding to move on. It seems they are expressing a desire for greater intimacy. They share their feelings about the absence of affection and openly express their sadness. When concerns are dismissed, overlooked, or met with laughter, it can lead to individuals feeling discouraged and ultimately stop voicing their thoughts. When a woman stops seeking love, it doesn't mean she has lost her desire for it. She has come to terms with the fact that it may not happen for her, and that realization gradually diminishes any remaining feelings she held. If this speaks to you, and if you've experienced the deep loneliness that can come from a love that seems to have faded, remember that you are not alone in this journey. Many women go through this as they get older, frequently without sharing their feelings. Number 6, experiencing the sense of being overlooked. In a long-term marriage, it's common to encounter feelings of resentment, particularly when one partner feels taken for granted. After years of giving, sacrificing, and expressing love, it can be disheartening to sense that these efforts are no longer recognized or appreciated. As time goes on, many women come to understand that the actions they once performed out of love, like preparing meals, remembering special dates, and supporting their husbands through life's challenges, have shifted from heartfelt gestures to expectations. When appreciation fades, the warmth in a marriage can also diminish. In the early stages of a relationship, it's common to feel a sense of gratitude. A husband might express his gratitude by saying, "Thank you for making dinner," or "I truly appreciate all that you do for me." As time goes on, it's common for many husbands to overlook the everyday efforts their wives put in, often taking for granted that their partners will always handle these responsibilities. When appreciation transitions into expectation, it can gradually transform love into feelings of resentment. Consider someone like Nancy, a 72-year-old retired school principal. For many years, she has managed her household with dedication and grace, never voicing any complaints. She thoughtfully prepared her husband's favorite meals, ensuring they were ready at the table. She maintained a tidy home, organized appointments, and took care of the small details that contributed to a more seamless life for everyone. As time went on, she began to observe something interesting. He doesn't express gratitude like he used to. When she made the effort to do something kind, it was met with silence, as if it were just part of her responsibilities. After dedicating hours to preparing a meal, she sat down, turned to her husband, and asked, "Do you even notice how much I do for you?" He responded with a puzzled shrug. In that moment, she understood that he had begun to overlook all the hard work she had put in. Feeling invisible in your own marriage can be truly heartbreaking. When a woman dedicates years to giving without receiving acknowledgement or reciprocity, it can truly take a toll on her well-being. Eventually, she may find herself less inclined to give everything she has. The underlying concern goes beyond simply men not expressing appreciation. Many may not fully appreciate all that their wives contribute from the very beginning. A woman who has dedicated her life to managing the intricacies of a household, remembering special occasions, providing emotional support to her husband, and nurturing the relationship may appear to be doing well on the surface. However, she might be experiencing feelings of exhaustion being drained, and a sense of not being recognized. It's important to recognize that this is a point that many men may not fully grasp. Resentment often builds up over time rather than stemming from a single significant event. It occurs due to countless little instances of feeling undervalued. When a woman feels undervalued, it's common for her to begin emotionally distancing herself. She seems to be laughing less these days. She has begun to hold back from starting conversations. She has gradually stopped engaging in the small gestures she used to perform with care. It's not about wanting to punish her husband. Rather, she finds herself in a place where she feels she has nothing more to offer. Many husbands may not recognize that showing appreciation is a simple yet powerful gesture. A heartfelt thank you, a thoughtful acknowledgement of her efforts, or even a surprise compliment can truly make a woman feel cherished and appreciated. When those words fade away entirely, the emotional connection tends to diminish as well. It's completely understandable to feel like you're giving so much without receiving the appreciation you deserve. If you've ever questioned whether your husband recognizes all your efforts, remember that your feelings are important and valid. It's common for many women to face this quiet challenge, questioning the significance of their efforts at times. If you're still with us and finding these insights helpful, I would love for you to comment number 6 below to let me know you're engaged. Your support inspires me to keep creating content that nurtures and empowers you, recognizing that they have drifted apart. As women age, one of the more challenging reasons they may start to feel resentment towards their husbands is the understanding that they have gradually drifted apart. It's difficult to realize that the person with whom they once shared dreams and laughter now seems so distant and unfamiliar. Change takes time and patience. Over time, as we settle into our routines, it's easy to let things slip. Neglect and a decrease in effort can gradually affect our emotional connections. One day, a woman gazes at her husband and wonders, "Who is this person? What led us to this point?" Many marriages begin with a strong bond, meaningful conversations, common aspirations, and the sense of being true partners in life. As time passes, it's natural for life to present its challenges. As we navigate through our careers, raise our children, and manage our responsibilities, it's natural for stress to become a significant factor in our lives. When a couple doesn't actively work on growing together, it's natural for them to drift apart over time. For many women, the initial indication of change is often a decrease in meaningful conversations. They come to understand that the conversations with their husband have changed from how they used to be. It's true that conversations often revolve around practical matters like bills, family plans, and daily routines. However, it's important to recognize that the deeper connection may be missing. It seems that the interest in exploring each other's thoughts and feelings has diminished over time. She may attempt to discuss something significant, but instead of participating in the conversation, he responds with brief, uninterested replies. Eventually, she begins to lose her motivation. Consider someone like Margaret, a 74-year-old retired social worker. In their younger days, she and her husband would spend long nights sharing their dreams, discussing their fears, and mapping out their plans for the future. However, it seems that conversations have lost their depth. When she inquired about his thoughts on something significant, he would often respond with a grunt or redirect the conversation to the news playing on TV. When she attempted to share her personal growth or interests, he seemed to hardly pay attention. In that moment, she came to understand that she was sharing her life with someone who had lost touch with the person she had become. This emotional disconnect can feel particularly challenging when women notice that their husbands appear unaffected. Even though many men experience loneliness profoundly, they often carry on as if everything is fine. It's a common belief that if there aren't any significant issues, everything is going smoothly. For a woman, experiencing emotional disconnection can be just as distressing as having a heated argument. She often feels a sense of isolation, as if she is invisible and profoundly alone in her marriage. It's often noticed that people may find they no longer have the same interests as they once did. Throughout the years, many women discover new passions, explore hobbies, or embrace fresh perspectives. While their husbands stay consistent, she may feel inspired to explore new travel opportunities, learn a new skill, or dive into meaningful conversations about life. When her husband is unwilling to grow alongside her, she may begin to feel confined in a marriage that no longer meets her needs. The most challenging aspect? Many women reflect on the marriage they once cherished. They cherish the memories of the man who brought joy to their lives, who would hold their hand effortlessly, and who genuinely cared about their thoughts and dreams. When that version of their husband fades away, they find themselves with someone who is there physically but feels emotionally distant. It's important to recognize that absence can often lead to feelings of resentment. Let's get real. Love is a journey that requires intention and effort. It's important to keep it well maintained. When a husband ceases to put in the effort, stops learning about his wife, and chooses to disconnect emotionally, he gradually becomes a stranger in his own home. If this speaks to you, and you've experienced the subtle sadness of feeling distant from your husband, remember that you are not alone in this journey. It's common for many women to experience these feelings, and it's important to remember that you're not alone in this journey. If you're still enjoying this video and finding the insights valuable, I would love for you to comment number 6 below to let me know you're with me. Your feedback is invaluable in guiding me to create content that truly celebrates and empowers you. In conclusion, let's reflect on the key points we've discussed. As we conclude this video, I encourage you to take a moment to reflect on the insights we've shared. It's important to understand that feelings of resentment in relationships often develop gradually over time, rather than appearing out of nowhere. This feeling develops over time, often stemming from unexpressed frustrations and unmet emotional needs. It can be a gradual awakening to the sense that one is no longer being recognized, listened to, or appreciated. Sometimes, it's the small misunderstandings and everyday challenges that can affect our relationships. Over time, it's usually the little, ongoing disappointments that can gradually affect a marriage. It's essential to keep this in mind. Feeling resentment doesn't mean that love has disappeared. It indicates that a change is necessary. Many women experience a sense of being stuck in silence, thinking that their emotions are too intricate to articulate or that the time has passed to tackle these concerns. It's always a great time to engage in open conversations, seek the appreciation you deserve, revive connections that may have faded, or even explore a new direction in life, whatever that may mean for you. If you see yourself in any of these signs, remember that your feelings are completely valid. You're in good company with this experience. Countless women have experienced similar emotional journeys and have emerged stronger, wiser, and more confident in themselves. It's important to acknowledge that you truly deserve to feel valued in your relationship. You have consistently shown your strength, and that will continue to be true. I'm eager to hear your thoughts. Which of these signs do you feel connected to the most? Have you ever gone through a change like this in your marriage? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Your insights are valuable to us. Your experiences and insights are always a pleasure to read. We truly appreciate you being here with us today. We are eager to hear from you. We'd love to hear from you. Please share one thing you learned today and how you intend to incorporate it into your life. Your insights can inspire others. We truly value your thoughts, so please feel free to share them with us. Your comments truly inspire and uplift us, providing the motivation we need to keep going. If you found this video enjoyable and helpful, we would greatly appreciate it if you could like, subscribe, and share it with others. Thank you for your support. Your support enables us to keep producing valuable content that informs and inspires you. Thank you for being a part of our journey. We truly appreciate you taking the time to watch, and we can't wait to connect with you in our next video.